Good afternoon. I am going to call the Davenport Park and Rec Advisory Board to session. May we have a roll call, please?
Coiner.
Here.
Lemick.
Here.
McBride. Absent. Peterson.
Here.
Schertz. Absent. Spratt. Here. Thomas.
Here.
Trees.
Here.
And Woods. Absent. We do have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is approval of the March meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion for that approval? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Anything else about that? Hearing none, we will indicate our approval or not approval by indicating a yes or no. So those in favor of accepting the March minutes indicate yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Hearing none, we will approve the March minutes. Public comment. Do we have public comment at this time? Okay, thank you. None. Old business, there is none on our agenda at this time. So let's move right to new business. The first of those is to introduce our newest staff member, Becca Niles.
So, yep. Coming to the podium is Becca Niles. She is our new Community Outreach and Experience Manager. If you remember Ryan Merritt, she took his position when he departed to Pleasant Hill. And we're excited. Becca's been with us for probably 3 weeks, 1 month now. So, yeah, she's jumped right in and has been a real team player so far. And she's going to give you a little rundown about herself and tell to you a little bit about the master planning process.
Director Dyson said, my name is Becca Niles, and I am a transplant from California by way of Phoenix, Arizona. I am finishing up my last year of a PhD program at ASU, Arizona State University, with the Community Resource and Development Program. I have about 20 years experience in Parks and Recreation in both nonprofit and the public sector. I worked for a special district for about 6 years in Sacramento, California. So it was just Parks and Recreation. Doing something similar in the community relations, community outreach. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design, and then I have a master's degree in recreation administration. So yeah, this is my passion. One of the questions I was asked in my interview was, you're getting a PhD, but you're coming back to community recreation. Why is that? And I really miss being part of a community and working in a community. I love academia, but I wanted to get back to working with people in a more proactive and positive way. So that is what brought me to Iowa, and I am loving it here. So I did want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the comprehensive master plan and our social pinpoint. So I think we're going to bring that up. So if you have not had a chance, we have the link to our social pinpoint. This is the public input part. So far we have there's 3 steps to it. We have had it open since April 11th. March 11th. Thank you. I knew that was wrong. Since March 11th, we have about 250 tags that have been added. This is where Jess is clicking right now. Is it going to open? There. We have about 250 tags, and this is the opportunity for people to specifically pick a park or a facility or an area within the boundaries of the city of Davenport to give us feedback on whether it's their favorite park, if they have an idea or a suggestion of things they would like to see in that area, letting us know if there's something that they dislike. You know, all feedback is good feedback. But we are about 50-50 in terms of, and I'm looking through the comments, I'm seeing more of the constructive feedback of things they would like to see versus we just don't like this. We're not having as much of that, which is kind of nice. People are really taking this serious and wanting to be part of improving parks in their communities. So we have 3 steps that people can go through. And you are able to take a look at the comments that have already been made. All of these comments that you see with these little tags, you'll see as Jess clicks on a couple of them, you can go in and see this. And the public, what I really, really, really like about this is people can reply to other people's comments, which I think is great because that starts conversations. And that also lets us know that it's not just one person who's interested in this. This is something that is at the neighborhood or community level. Just if you wouldn't mind, head back to the main page, please. The most common parks that have comments, obviously, we're going to have Vanderveer, Centennial, Sunderbrook. That's Fedgeberry. There's not very surprising that those are the ones that have the most comments. But we do have really, really good coverage across the entire city. So I don't think we have any parks that don't have at least one comment on them, which is great. The second step of the social pinpoint public input is this voting on images. The purpose of this is to get an idea of what people's preferences are, whether it's types of parks, types of playground equipment that we would have in the parks. A very common comment that we're getting is that people love the ninja course at Sunderbrook and that they would like to see maybe a kid's version or something that's a little bit more inclusive, a little bit more low impact so that we're reaching more abilities. We also have shelter preferences. So this is what kind of picnic structures people would like to see. It doesn't guarantee that this is just to help us with planning in the future. It's not that this is where we're definitely going to go. We also have the hardscapes. This is going to be your benches, trash cans, signage. Signage is the next one. And then we have our paths and trails. So this is whether they're nature trails, hard concrete trails, bike trails, walking paths, even just the walking areas within a park as well. So this gives people an opportunity to kind of vote on different images of the types of assets that would be in these parks. And then we can get an idea of what people's overall preferences are. We have step 3, which is a short survey. The survey is primarily looking at how people use our parks, how often they use our parks, and what's the purpose of their visit to a park. It's only a couple of questions. And then what I really like is we have this area that's just kind of general comments or thoughts. So this is an area that's really great for if you don't have something about a specific park, maybe just something overall about the Parks and Recreation Department or program ideas. This is an area where they're able to kind of give some last final thoughts. So far, we're having really good response rates. We have been doing quite a bit of promotion because we want to make sure that we're getting it out there, but we also understand that there's people who aren't necessarily internet-based or have access, and so we have made ourselves available that if we get feedback over the phone, we can go in and add in the comments for them as well. And I've done that actually with a couple of community members that have reached out to me. So I want to open up if you have any questions about this. We've had a chance to take a look at it.
Yeah, I've been there.
Excellent. My comment is the timeline from now until one would need to get this in their things to do pile and get it completed. Yeah. So what we're talking about?
We did not have a hard end date or closing date because we wanted to see what kind of response rates we were getting, but we were thinking anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks from the time that we open. So that puts us roughly the end of this month that we'll potentially be closing it. And once we do decide on a hard date, we will be getting that messaging out into the public so that we can make sure that they know that it is going to be closing soon.
Other comments? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
This is quite a project to step into right away.
It is, but it's the researcher in me loves this kind of stuff. So.
And what a great way to get a real sense of the community.
Yes.
So I'd say that it would be an asset, right?
I think so.
Thank you. Any other comments you would like to share? Yes.
Yes, and how specifically are you getting this out to the public?
So we've done, Chad was able to do some media when we were getting ready to first roll it out. So it was on a couple of news stations. We have sent out, there was a press release that came out from the city, and we've been really pushing it on our social media outlets, both the Parks and Recreation social media outlets, as well as the cities. PD has helped share some of it for us, and so has Fire.
Thank you.
I've also been talking about it at.
Not valid.
What?
I've been attending neighborhood and community meetings and ward meetings with the community impact team, and so we've been bringing it up there as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're seeing some of us live, and you saw a couple of faces.
I saw a couple faces.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
After this information is all compiled, what do we do then?
Okay, so we will be data analysis, so analysis of the feedback and the survey results and stuff are being done by the company that we contracted with, Confluence. They will take all of that information and do their analysis, and then they're going to present to us a recommendation report.
Okay.
And then from there, I think that's something that we'd be bringing to the Park Advisory Board to give a presentation on.
So it'd be the full circle, and we'd come back, be doing this again, of voting on what should be done, what shouldn't be done.
Well, technically, the public input portion is part of the planning process, and then that rolls into the recommendation section of the document. So when the final document comes to you guys for acceptance, that's where you'll see all the feedback and everything. Okay. It won't be another like prioritization exercise, but it'll be adopting the plan. And then from there, as we then do budget process and park development, we'll refer back to that plan on an annual basis and say, okay, this is what was preferenced. This is what we're bringing forward now for you guys to prioritize. So
this will make it easier for you to make better decisions on what should be going forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Question, if that's okay. So this is where I put, as a citizen in the community, this is where I put, like, I'd like to see Wi-Fi in parks. That's where I put that in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can give you, if you want, before we leave, I can write down the website so that so it makes it a little bit easier for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Well, we've had an opportunity to vote on our preferences.
I read your
Amenities.
resume, and I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
And why you ever left Arizona and California, but it's beyond me, but I'm not going to ask you that.
I love California, it's my home. I did not love Arizona and was very happy to come here.
Oh, good.
Well, we have voted, and the council has voted, and Chad's going to present the final results.
So this is our annual preferencing exercise with our park development program. So like Wendy mentioned, we sent out the survey, and you guys all had the opportunity to rate preference. City council did as well, and so has staff. Based on those numbers, this is the final slate, as you will, that we are bringing forward to you guys to approve today, and then it'll move on to council in May and be on the council agenda for their final approval. So these things will be funded starting July 1. So just a quick rundown of the list, and a reminder that the park development program is an annual CIP that's funded at $350,000. These are the scores, as the center score is a tabulation between you and council, and then the cost is in the right-hand column. So going forward, I'm going to go through each one of these projects individually, just as a reminder, and then overview. This was, just wanted to give you an update on last year's projects, just so you have an idea of where we are as far as completion and status. The changing rooms at Annie Witt and Fedge, we are under construction. The outdoor movie package is complete. Thermostats at Roosevelt are complete. The track and soccer field project at Prairie Heights will start this fall. Tyler Playground is ordered and will be installed, looking at Betsy, this spring. The playground elements for Prairie Heights are out for bid. Overseeder's complete. Sunshades, we delayed the pool stuff a little bit, obviously, because we weren't open last year. So all that is being caught up with this spring with the shade structures. We are in the planning stage for the Red Hawk Maintenance Building. And then the greenhouse, we have received it, and it'll be installed as we open this spring as well. So just wanted to give you guys an update, because a lot of times projects get slowed down, but we had the opportunity to push forward and get most of these going. So this is just a map, and it's sort of hard to see, but it's project locations based over the last, that doesn't help. Just go back out to the slideshow. From FY18 to FY21, so you get an idea of where park development money has been spent, and really it has accomplished what we intend to accomplish, and that is to spread it out throughout the community and not have it concentrate on any one area. So I'm happy with the disbursement of different projects and funds. We are covering the majority of our wards and parks and areas of the community with this funding. So with that, we'll just walk through the projects individually that made the final cut here. This is the aquatic safety equipment package. Project will provide new equipment for our aquatic facilities, lane lines, reel covers, line savers. Really important aspect is the water mannequins. They are a requirement of our Red Cross training now, and they are costly, so it's good we were able to get them funded through a CIP project. And then safety vests and rack for the vests. Going back one, can you go back one? Oh, you don't know. There you go. Just one thing about this one, we may move it forward a little bit, assuming you guys approve the final slate today, just so we can get this stuff ordered, some of the things, and have them in time for training this spring for our pool opening. So, Eastern Avenue disc golf basket replacement. This is a joint project that was actually brought to us by a group of avid disc golfers that had raised some money to replace the baskets at the Eastern Avenue course. Total project cost is $15,000. Our contribution with this funding is only $6,000, because that group has raised the rest of the funds to complete the project. Goose Creek Park restroom. This was brought forward through a review with the Alderman and the 8th Ward Advisory Board position. With the addition of the disc golf course at Goose Creek, the splash pad, the community park, it was indicated that restroom would be of high demand and use for this park. So we brought this in. The project cost is $130,000, similar to the restroom in Lower Lindsay or the one at Slattery that we've done in the recent years. There'll be a prefab building and multi-user single stall restroom. Junior Theater lighting. This replaces the lighting project at Junior Theater, or the lighting system. It's old and has become to the point where repairs are more costly than replacing the system as a whole. This is also a joint funded project with Junior Theater Inc. They are raising the additional funds beyond the 52,000 that the 52,500 that the city is contributing. Total project cost is 79,000. North Gaiman playground replacement. So North Gaiman was next on our list as far as age and in need of replacement. $30,000 to replace this. The last couple ones we've done, we typically are in the $65,000 range. The footprint on this playground is significantly smaller than the majority of our neighborhood playgrounds, thus the lower cost to replace it. But $30,000 for this. Vanderveer Stone Bridge Beautification. This was an idea between the Hort staff and the Friends of Vanderveer to upgrade the Stone Bridge area. The Stone Bridge area, if you're familiar, is a very popular place in Vanderveer for prom pictures and wedding pictures and just general photo opportunities. We wanted to enhance the area a little bit by planting some additional flower beds and adding some water and electric hookups so that it'd be easier to maintain those areas. So this is a $10,000 project that'll enhance the Stone Bridge at Vanderveer. Nahant Marsh improvements. They came to us through Brian Ritter requesting funding for additional security cameras that would be installed and several of the 20-plus-year-old doors to be replaced. And this is a $10,000 project for improvements at Nahant Marsh. Wayland Park walking path. This is another one that was identified, I think, as part of the 8th Ward review. This is an internal path similar to what we're doing at Jersey Farms Park. It'll be an aggregate, but it'll create an opportunity for nearby residents of the park to walk, exercise, and just generally enjoy the park as a whole. Wayland Park doesn't currently have any sidewalks around it, so it's a needed addition for that exercise purpose. $50,000 is the project cost for this. And then community bike rack project. So this one I'm particularly excited about because it gives us the opportunity to work with the schools and their welding programs, and we have a long history of working particularly with Andy Zinn and the West High welding group to create different things for our parks. So this will be basically the seed money to design some unique bike racks, community specific, and then have them constructed by the students, and then our staff will place them in the parks. This is just the initial funding. I could see this coming back every couple years to continue to add additional bike racks to different parks, but this is the start of that project. Northwest Playground, 2 through 5, Little Tot Playground. This one came to us through a request of the aldermen and neighbors of Northwest Park. The current play equipment there really is designed for 7 to 12-year-olds and has limited play opportunity for that preschool age group. So we'll be adding an additional piece to the existing playground. That's the summary of the projects. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, otherwise, we just need a motion to accept the slate of FY22 park development projects, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, we will entertain the motion, a motion to accept the fiscal year 22 park development program as presented. Do I hear?
I have a couple questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Before we get into that.
All right.
2 things. One is the bathroom that you're going to build. It's for uni. Is it for both I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you building one for men and women?
No, it's a unisex single stall.
How much more would it cost for, and why wouldn't we do that?
It'd probably double the cost. I mean,
It would double the cost?
maybe,
Really?
maybe not double, but I mean, you think about it, you would essentially have to double the size of the building to add the second stall. You'll gain some on the mechanical and plumbing areas, right? That wouldn't have to be that much. I don't know, maybe another 70,000 or so.
Northwest restroom, which is the last one we built that was not prefabbed, was 380,000. And that had men's, women's, and utility closet.
No, I'm just not, I mean, it's probably not so bad situation for guys, but for women and men both using it, I'm just not agreeable to it, I'll be honest with you, but that's me on that.
Other comments about the entire project?
And then, doesn't the marsh, don't they get money from other areas besides the park system to do things down there? Don't they get something from the government?
They get funding through the community college, which is the programming end of it. But the city maintains the responsibility through the agreement on the actual grounds and building. So anything building related sort of falls back to us, and we have a small operation line item in our budget for Nahant Marsh.
And one other thing, as far as the overall parks and the playgrounds, we've been putting wood chips in there. Is there some day where we won't be able to, where we can not do that any longer?
From a code perspective?
Well, I guess what I'm looking at is maybe we ought to have something else other than wood chips, because I've been hearing things that kids run around there and they get slivers and they do all this stuff. I think it's just something better we could put in there.
When it comes to playground safety materials and fall zones, you have three options really. You have the 5R wood chips, you have sand, or you have the poured and play rubber surfacing. So, I mean, in an ideal world, I think everybody would love to put the poured and play in. It just is, it's costly. It just doubles the cost of a playground project typically. The wood mulch meets all the safety playground standards. Yes, you can get some slivers in it. Sand is another option. Sand is harder to maintain as far as weeding and growth from organics. But yeah, I mean, those are the three options we really look at as available to us as far as safety zone materials that are acceptable.
Okay.
Other questions?
I have, am I on? Okay, I'm sorry. I was just real quick with the North Gaiman playground replacement. Are you only replacing the actual playground, or are you keeping the swing set there? So is that 30,000 for the whole area or just the playground?
The whole area. We intend to replace the swing set as well.
Okay. Well, I think most questions were answered. I will move to approve the fiscal year park development program to council as presented.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Additional discussion, or are we ready for the vote? Hearing none, shall we proceed? Those approving or supporting the fund development as presented, signify with yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Opposed?
Yes.
Great. Opposed? No. I think we're good with approving. I did hear no one saying no. Correct? Thank you very much. I hear, was someone trying to make a comment, or are we good? That's all right.
Oh, I was just chuckling because it's no nos.
No. There's
Never
no
mind.
no's. Oh, that's funny. Yes, thank you. Anyhow, we do have one additional new business item, and it really is time to have a conversation about last month's discussion or start of discussion, changing our meeting time and day feedback. And you should have received a summary via the internet in your packet about the results of the input from all of our members. Does everybody have that in front of them?
Yep.
Okay. I think what we want to do is I'm going to suggest maybe us thinking about discussions about there were differences in time of day, and we had options of Monday or Thursday. So we want to get some input on that. When I went through that, I found indication of 9 for Monday, and 4 of our members, with the meeting starting at 4 p.m., 3 members indicated a preference for 5 p.m., and 2 members said any. So that's what I got, and I wanted to share that just kind of as a starting point for conversation or input. So let's hear from all of you in regard to where you stand on this change proposal.
Well, I'm open to anything because my generous husband said whatever day, whatever time, after the meeting, we'll go out to eat.
All right.
Because
So,
we usually eat at that time of 5 o'clock. So. But this changes everything. It doesn't matter to me what day or what time of day.
I'm going to add you to any. Other comments?
I just want to be aware of the people that work. You know, it's for us retired folk, it doesn't matter. I just want to be, aware of the working people and their hours. You know, make it so they can come to the meetings.
Other comments?
This is me. Just like I had written in there, I'm retired, and I can come anytime, so it's not an issue. And I think the more people we get into our meetings, rather than any way other, is the best way to do that. So that way we have people here. I think you can get more input. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Leah, have a comment?
I'm pretty flexible. Like I said, just the 4 o'clock time works best for me, but I can make anything work, honestly. So I guess the people who have conflicts, maybe, I would not like to go much past 5 starting time, because sometimes these run kind of late, and I don't want to be here at 7 o'clock at night. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. I just like to be home at night watching my shows.
Can I make a quick comment? So largely this is being brought up because we've had a couple vacant seats recently, and Tiffany in the admin office, who sort of handles the recruitment for commissions and boards and works with the alder persons to, make appointments. A lot of what they're hearing is the noon time just doesn't work, right? For working people primarily. So that is the biggest single reason in trying to adjust this. And also, like Jerry said, I think to potentially give the public more opportunity to come. Now, the one beauty of the noontime in the past is it's kept us focused in a timely meeting. Usually we would limit it to an hour with a little over if possible. So, I mean, I would encourage that even if we are moving to a 4 or 5 o'clock start, we're still looking to keep our meetings functional, timely. I would agree. I don't think we want to be here for 3-4 hours once a month, even though I love all of you and spending time with you guys. And reading sort of the feedback, I think Mondays was primarily the best time. So I think it's a matter of, whether we go 4 or 5 o'clock, which I think we can go either way from a staff perspective. That's not a big deal.
Jessica?
Tegan had a comment.
Tegan, yes. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
So as someone who works a day job, again, I would be thrilled to see the time shift to a later time. I'm really lucky. I have a lot of flexibility with my current job that I am able to come at noon, but we do typically run over, and that I have to make that time up when I get back. So I'm thinking if the issue that we're trying to resolve is making it more available, to people, definitely would want to see 4 or 5 as the new time. I don't know, like people with kids, 4 is probably better. For me, 5 is better. I don't know if staff has input on what they would prefer. I'm flexible on time, but again, I would prefer Monday afternoon or evening.
Thank you.
Mike's feedback is I vote Monday at 4 p.m. and keep the meetings crisp.
Good. I talked about what would happen next in regard to the process. In order to change the meeting day and time, we need to have a revision of our bylaws, and then we would be voting on approval of that revision based upon the new meeting that's decided upon. So we weren't really open to starting the formal motion at this time. Can you share other information, or can we propose a motion today and move to have bylaws ready for the next meeting? What say ye about that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think if somebody makes a motion that's accepted as a recommendation or direction to staff, then we'll prepare the bylaw change to be officially motioned and acted on next month. But we would probably want to be specific to the day and time in that motion. So if somebody says, I motion to move Park Advisory Board meetings to the first or the second Monday of each month beginning at 4 p.m. and then see if there's a second, and then a roll call on that. If it doesn't carry, you can make another motion on a different time, so on and so forth.
Thank you. Shall we proceed in that manner?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Jerry?
I make a motion, we do it on Monday at 4 o'clock.
Is there a second?
I would like to revise that to the second Monday of each month, right? The second, does that work? And then I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion.
How do we feel about 4:30?
I was thinking that too, but I didn't know if that was appropriate to.
I'm cool with that.
Go to a 4:30.
So Jerry, go back and revise your motion.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to revise my motion to make it at 4:30 on Monday.
Second Monday.
I will second
that.
I will second the motion to change it from our meetings, our park advisory meetings from the second Monday.
Second
Each
Monday?
month at 4:30.
4:30.
From noon. to
Second
4:30.
Monday?
Second
I'm
Monday.
sorry.
Second Monday. Yes.
At what time?
4:30.
4:30?
That did change. We have a first, or a motion to, to vote on the motion that our advisory board meeting be changed to the second Monday of the month at 4:30 p.m. And I assume council chambers, right? Are we ready to vote? Yes, okay. Those favoring that motion indicate with yes.
Wendy, we do need to do a roll call on this, please.
We'll do, okay, thank you. I wondered about that as I started to look here. So formal roll call, so listen for your name with a yes or a no, a response.
Coiner.
Yes.
Lemec. Maureen.
Yes to the vote?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Peterson. Shirts. I saw he added. I vote yes.
Adriana is also on the call with us too. She did come in after the beginning roll.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not see that. McBride.
Aye.
Okay. Spratt, yes. Thomas.
Yes.
And Trees.
Yes.
Okay. That was unanimous.
We have a unanimous approval of moving in this direction to the second Monday at 4:30 p.m. in council chambers, and we will have the information to approve our bylaws to reflect this at our next meeting. Staff reports, please.
The only thing I have is for a future agenda item, and it doesn't necessarily have to be next month because I think staff may need a little bit of time to investigate, but Mike brought this up in an email to me, and I've had some additional comments over the past year as the pandemic increased our use of our trails. We are seeing more and more e-bikes on our trails, and we don't have any sort of policy, rule, ordinance, or anything pertaining to them. If you're familiar, they're pedal assist bikes is what they're called. Technically, they're motorized, but they're not gas motorized. So there's a lot of variance between different law. Like, we don't allow motorized vehicles on our trails now, but a pedal assist bike technically isn't that. So I would like to bring some options forward for you guys to review and discuss and look about potentially adopting some rule changes for policy maybe on the use of e-bikes as it pertains to our trail use. So future agenda, that's all.
Thanks. We also have written reports from our staff. So you had those in your packets. So are there questions, comments, other notations you would like to state?
Is this going to be our advisory time, or is this just on the staff?
This is staff reports, reacting to that first. Yes. Okay.
I'm disappointed that you can't find anybody to work.
To what? Oh.
Yes, we are too, Richard. It's that if you read the staff reports, it's a common theme amongst all three of our senior managers. Hiring has been a challenge this spring for whatever reason. We have some, whether it's pandemic fear or whatever, or if it's free to pay unemployment benefits. I don't know. There's a lot of different concerns as to our hiring, and to be honest, it very likely could impact some of our service delivery this summer, particularly in pools. Aquatics, we are not getting nearly, unless that's changed. I'm looking at Teresa, but we are not getting anywhere near the amount of applicants we need to operate 3 pools in Davenport. So we are meeting with HR. We're going to do some additional strategy and push out and then try to get people interested. But if you know people who need seasonal or want a summer job, please send them our way because we are hiring.
Getting them, or have we done any kind of research on that? Is it because of the fact of I'm not totally sure if it's the pandemic, my own opinion, but maybe I might be wrong. That has something to do with it. But it could be, like in your aquatic, in your swimming pools, is it because they don't have qualified people to be lifeguard?
No, I mean, we do all the training in-house. So we provide all that. That's not an issue with aquatics.
Is it money?
It partially could be pay scale. Particularly, I mean, we don't know. We can only speculate, but, the Illinois side, they have an increased minimum wage compared to Iowa. So it could be they're crossing the river to work at those pools as opposed to ours. This year is particularly alarming, though. You would think, or at least I would speculate, that coming off of a year of not having pools open and kids not being able to work, that there would be interest in them wanting to work, or would be chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get back out there and have a summer experience.
Do we go to the high schools and the colleges maybe and have conversation with them? Or I imagine you do.
Yep, we do. Yep, so and I don't know, they used to do a lot of job fairs and things like that at the schools. And obviously last year that was limited. But they have they're starting to loosen that up so we can come and speak to the kids. Okay. So, I mean, we're hopeful that in the next coming, the good thing is, like with pools, for example, the schools, they're going later this year. They don't get out till mid-June. So it gives us a little bit more time on the back end to try to get staff in place. But we're pushing it. I mean, into April is, we would normally have had the majority of our summer team hired by now. So it's getting late for us.
Thank you. I'd like to have, since we're getting near the end of our timeline, we do have time for advisory time, which we have not done for a while. So Richard, what you had suggested or had a comment, so can you maybe share what you had on your mind?
Oh, I've been walking down at Credit Island a lot. Have we ever discussed trying to get the Friends Group to help and put a wood chip path around that inner lagoon so people could use that as a walking path? Has that ever been talked about?
I don't believe it has, but I can certainly have that conversation with Bob and his group, Richard.
I just wonder, couldn't we get the chips free from the city?
Yeah, I think we could get some from the compost facility. Free.
It was just an idea because I thought maybe people would use it, as a place to walk.
Thanks. Other comments for our advisory part? Time that you would like to share?
Adrian is asking when the next Friends of Credit Island meeting is.
That's a good question. Adriana. I'm not aware that they actively meet, to be honest, or have a standing monthly meeting. I know they have not been doing that since the pandemic, and they ceased their bingo operations, and I haven't heard any timeline on that coming back either. But we can certainly reach out and see if they have a planned meeting and then let you know.
Jerry?
Troy, I'd like to have a report. Can you give us an update on what's going on at the golf courses, and now that they're open, what are we doing for inside, outside? Where are we at? Time frames? Just an overview, if you would, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Troy, Superintendent of Revenue Facilities. Golf courses all opened the weekend, the latter weekend of spring break, or I think it was March 19th. We opened up for a couple good days. Then weather got cold. We closed down a little bit. Kind of took advantage of the good weather. Now we've been open steady here. We're expecting rain tomorrow, but we've been very busy right up until then. In respect to your clubhouses, we opened the clubhouses as we closed them with the window service. I was just expressing to the director earlier in the season too. We had a lot of concerns about the cashiers not wanting to come back if it was like person to person. That was in February and March when we were doing the hiring. So I instructed them to open up with the window services so they wouldn't quit. And then May 1st, we're going to start the clubhouses as normal. We might start even a little bit sooner, however they are comfortable with their staff, but they have direction from me to open up the clubhouses as normal May 1st. So right now it's up to the windows. They are open. They are available to come inside and do shopping or to use restrooms or things like that they need to use the clubhouse for. We're not. They just need to ask to come in. The maintenance staff has been very.
So you're saying that
yes,
they can go into the clubhouse now?
Yeah, if they ask, they want to come in and do a shop or anything, they're just not open and seating people for concessions or anything like that.
So when are you planning on doing that? May 1st, you say?
May 1st, yes.
Why May 1st?
That was just a date we picked. So the cashiers would return to work as normal and give them time to work out their concerns or work out let the community levels be better than they were in February and March when we were having these earlier conversations about them returning to work in the first place.
You have all the plastics up inside the...
We have, they're available as well.
I know they're
yes.
there,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that shouldn't be an issue with any of the starters, I wouldn't think, because as soon as you go up to the starter window, I mean, they're right there, they're closer to you there than they are if they were behind the counter.
Sure, these issues, we wanted to respect their wishes on what comfort level they were. We did fine with the windows in the fall. The customers were appreciative of us being open as well. So that's just the way we went out the door until this date that we selected for May 1st.
The reason I'm pushing this a little bit because of the fact of the revenue that we can get from when we have that clubhouse open. When they walk in there over to the bar and get what they need from there. And I'm looking at revenue is what I'm looking at. And your revenues for your concessions is in the dumps right now. And that needs to change.
Sure.
That's the reason I'm going with this and pushing it a little bit harder. And the longer we wait, the less money we make. Mm-hmm. Your golf revenues are good, which could always be better, but I mean they're good. But the concessions, I mean, it's right on the report that you gave us.
Sure, and like we mentioned, we've had just very minimal help returning. And if we would have lost anybody that didn't come back yet, we'd have a shift that we would have to either double, which we do all the time anyway. We're arranging people working at different courses to cover the hours to be open now. So we're filling up. We got many new people in the process for clubhouses. We just have to keep the processing going, and I feel really good about that. That we're going to make it by that date for sure, if not sooner. We can go sooner if things come together sooner.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I just have a couple of announcements, so to speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy. Be sure to put on your calendar the Friends of Vanderveer plant sale. If you haven't done that, it will be in the conservatory, and to the general public, it's open from 1 to 6, April 30th through May 2nd. And if you happen to be a member of Friends of Vanderveer, April 29th from 3 to 6 is a special opening time for 3 to 6:30 for them. That was one thing, and the other will be if you received your citywide newsletter, the initial announcements that this year we'll have Party in the Park. So be sure to, it says, stay tuned, anticipated to take place in July. Stay tuned and check out the website for updates. So that's something that's going to return, which is good news for all of us to expand the Park and Rec's work in our city parks to the public. So be sure to put those two things on the calendar, and I'll see you there. Any other comments for our time together? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Richard?
One thing, we got an email about an April 17th city cleanup, Riverfront. What was that?
I had that also. I should have said something. April 17th is Riverfront Beautification Day, and there are two time slots that there'll be work. One is from 8 to noon, and it was 8 to noon, but one would be 8 to 10 or 10 to 12. And if you contact Steve Ahrens, he would be the person who says thank you for your participation. That's what I did, and you can get him via the city site, but he also has his phone. So yes, April 17th is coming up, so it's a chance to get ourselves actively involved in the tasks of Riverfront beautification. Thanks for that reminder.
Okay.
Other things? If not,
Wendy, when were the Friends of Vanderveer plant sale dates again?
The plant sale dates are for the general public, April 30th through May 2nd, 1 to 6 at the conservatory in Vanderveer.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. I am saying our hour is getting close here, and I think it's time for us to move on and enjoy a beautiful warm day, getting sunburned or, enjoy your shorts, etc. So I would like to entertain a motion for, adjourning this meeting.
Yes, we're meeting next month at the regular time.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Okay.
We will meet here at the usual time, which is May 4th at noon.
Okay.
So thank you.
With that being said, I would like to move for this meeting to adjourn, please.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jerry. Any discussion at this time, or shall we go right to the vote? Okay. Those approving the adjournment of today's meeting indicate with yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
People who want to stay longer for the meeting, you may say no. Hearing none, I state have a great weekend. Our meeting is adjourned. Weekend.